The shocking truth behind Jada Pinkett Smith's and Tupac's relationship. Despite being over 2 decades old, Jada Pinkett Smith's romance with Tupac Shakur continues to get media attention. Jada tells how he impacted her and the talks she now has. Protests against racism and prejudice are sweeping the country, and this has prompted more attention to be paid to violence in our own neighborhood. To some extent, we are all forced to confront our cities and towns' inherent violent tendencies, whether it's due to actual or perceived abuses by law enforcement, or widespread riots or looting. Many well-known people are joining the conversation. Celebrities like Jada Pinkett Smith have taken a stand against violence, and in particular, the way violence against women can be used against and hurt women. As a result of Tupac's death, the actress has a personal connection to violence that many people may overlook. Since his passing over 2 decades ago, considerable mystery and debate have surrounded Tupac Shakur's cause of death. In September 1996, a drive-by shooting murdered the hip-hop artist in Las Vegas. Some journalists and investigators feel that gang violence may have played a factor in the rapper's murder, despite the fact that the police never formally accused anybody. Regardless of whether or not Tupac's death was caused by gang violence, it's clear to argue that violence in the neighborhood was a factor. Jada Pinkett Smith, a childhood acquaintance of Tupac Shakur, who was also saddened by his death. Because of the nature of her connection with the late artist, it is even more intriguing that she opted to come out open with her story. This is what Jada had to say about growing up in a war zone. A whole episode of Red Table Talk was devoted to the topic of gun violence and how it impacts women. Lauren London, an actress and ex-girlfriend of Nipsey Hussle, sat down with Jada Pinkett Smith to talk about the rapper's death. Jada's viewpoint on gun violence was brought up during a conversation with Lauren. She recalled how, while still in middle school, she started to notice an increase in the number of shootings in her neighborhood. Jada added that gun violence had become the norm in her neighborhood. It had become so deadly that Jada was afraid to go to a house party for fear of being attacked. Consequently, she was forced into the habit of ensuring her own safety at all times. Will Smith's friendship with the late musician Tupac Shakur reportedly caused him to express his displeasure at the actress's behavior, leading her to plead with the rapper not to harm her new beau. It would be important to know that Tupac and Jada were close as teenagers while attending the same Baltimore high school. Even though they've been linked romantically, Jada has always stated that they were simply pals. A few months after Tupac was murdered and died by a drive-by shooting, Girls Trip actress and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air actor Will married in 1997. Tupac, on the other hand, was there throughout Jada and Will's early days together, which apparently generated friction between the three. I remember when I first came around Pac, Jada Pinkett was in a movie. It may have been the first movie she ever appeared in with one of the Wayans brothers. I can't remember the name of it. In Atlanta, I was a youngster and I thought, this movie is dull. But Pac was glued to the screen, completely engrossed and totally absorbed in the film. It was after he traveled to Los Angeles and was visibly angry that I heard him mention her for the second time. Jada was about to phone me and warn me, don't do anything to Will Smith, when Pac walked in the room. Napoleon claims that Tupac, who was offended by Jada's statement, said, "It makes no sense to assume that I'd attempt to cause any difficulties with Will Smith. It's understandable that it affected him," he says. In addition to admiration, he had high regard for Jada Pinkett Smith. Great admiration for her, Napoleon stated this. On the occasion of Tupac's 50th birthday, Jada unveiled an undated handwritten poem for the rapper, which Jada has spoken about warmly ever since. Jada Pinkett Smith and Tupac Shakur's strong connection prompted Will, 53, to go so far as to refuse to talk to the California Love rapper while he was visiting last year. In response to a question from Charlemagne the God of the Breakfast Club, Will said that he has been jealous of the California Love rapper in the past. As he said, he had a lot of regrets about not being able to communicate with Pac more openly. In a way, we had a thing since they were childhood sweethearts who never had a sexual connection with one another. Pac had never had an affair with her, but she simply adored him, Will said. In contrast to him, she was dating a man known as the Fresh Prince. Actress Jada Pinkett Smith said how Jada used to urge her two favorite boyfriends to spend time with each other since they had similar dispositions to her own. No way, no how. Will later admitted, "That was a tremendous regret of mine and I couldn't handle it. He was Pac and I was the mellow Philly rapper. I was too insecure and weak to manage that kind of relationship," he said. And there you have it, guys. The shocking truth behind Jada Pinkett Smith's and Tupac's relationship. And as we come to the end of this episode, leave a comment on this video's comment section about the story. Right after adding your comment about this issue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to be present during the next video as we unravel the shocking realities that surround the romance of Will and Jada.